America, the home of baseball, the brave, apple pie, and mass murder. If there's one thing Americans are starting to get really good at, it surely is mass murder. This latest episode of Incomprehensible Murder Death Kill involving the illegal immigrant and the AR-15 is not sitting well with me for a couple of reasons, and in this Evilkind installment, I'm going to tell you why. And as usual, the golden nuggets will come at the end of the video, guys, so you're going to want to watch until the end. Alright, and with that, it's all boop, boop, boop. So another week, another mass murder, because our culture is just bathing in evil now. We're swimming in it, gargling in it, intravenously feeding ourselves with it. And I knew that by the time this piece got out, we'd be on to the next morbid tale of senseless killing. And sure enough, there was another mass murder that took place today in Atlanta. And the question we will continue to hear on the hard left establishment news channels like MSNBC until we're all in chains, subsisting on government handouts, confined to agrarian prison cities, and that is if we survive nuclear war, is how many more children have to die until Congress does something about it. You see, the vibe of They Live is now so deeply embedded into the underlying pulse of the American experience, especially on the media front, it's as if mob manipulation is the only point. My goodness, did you hear? Governor Abbott called them a bunch of illegals. That cold-hearted bigot. Don't you get it, comrade? Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, Antony Blinken, and Karine Jean-Pierre are the ultimate stewards of truth. They never lie. So what if the banks fail and you lose everything in the stock market? Who cares if the whole system goes bust and we hyperinflate? What's the big deal if China nukes us and kills half of us and takes the other half captive as slaves? Whatever. This is about love, not hate. And we love you. We're all the same. Come and let us love you. Title 42 is done. The border is open. Come to Papa so you can get vaporized like the rest of us. And speaking of mob manipulation, as I was putting this together, I literally just caught a News Nation blip, basically beating me to the past, talking gobbledygook about the media's overall narrative on this story. I'm not even sure what they were trying to say exactly, but I do know the major words they were looking to speak into audible form and pump down your throats were media, narrative, politicized, and no. Other than that, it was fucking nonsense. No point to this little news segment other than to jump to the head of the line with the words media and narrative and the instruction/directive to not think about this anymore. No narrative. This story shouldn't be politicized. No. Go back to sleep. Nothing. Don't think about this. Meanwhile, this is an organization that jumped on Oropeza from start to finish, from morning till night, until this guy was caught. Because I'm telling you guys, in my humble opinion, and really, who gives a shit about what I have to say, right? Because let's face it, Evilkind has 45 subscribers. 45 subscribers. And Evilkind will probably lose one subscriber after this video. So I'm getting the message that no one gives a shit about what Evilkind has to say. So why not just say what I want to say, right? In my humble opinion, and you can take it or leave it, this is entertainment, man. We are living in a digital technocratic prison where the ruling system in place, steering the ship that is America straight into the iceberg, is wholly intent on stuffing every profane, uninitiated, useless eater deep into the platonic cave filled with nothing but shit, stick figures, and piss buckets, where literally everything is a lie, everything is a falsehood and intentional deception, where Wi-Fi basically stands for we is fucking in yo shit. Nothing but evil. But I digress because I want to get to the two things bugging me about this whole Oropeza deal. Ready? Okay, number one, all mass murders are not created equal, especially if they can't be used to reinforce the what now? Right, the narrative that News Nation already talked about. Okay, they already covered this. What is this narrative News Nation doesn't want us to talk about or think about, you ask? Simply that AR-15s are and illegals are, and that red state folk are filthy racists. But what makes this particular mass murder higher grade than the average mass murder? Allow me to explain. Oropeza allegedly killed 5 people in a drunken, murderous rage after receiving a noise complaint Friday night, April 28th, in Cleveland, Texas. That is the story. But on the following Sunday night in Mojave, apparently a remote section of Kern County, I'm not even sure if that's how to pronounce it, Mojave, 4 people were found brutally assaulted and also shot to death. And in this case, they were all shot in the head, execution style. And while the American populace was instantly thrust into the drama of the Oropeza killings from sea to shining sea, the Kern County incident has largely remained hush-hush and not much more than a local news blip. From what I've read in sparse news bites concerning the Kern County slaughter, there are no leads whatsoever, absolutely no description of the suspect or suspects, and the identities of the 4 victims are being tightly concealed. Other than the fact that 3 of them were women, they're not telling us anything else. Now, do we not care about these people? I thought we cared about all victims of gun violence in mass murder. That's what I thought. Clearly, in the eyes of the controlled establishment media, all mass murders are not created equal. We don't have to care about the 4 people shot in the head, execution style, in Kern County. So, we have to assume that because this one took place in a blue state, already in line with whatever they want to do with the pew, 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 keeping this one on the DL better serves the overall agenda. So that's the first thing. But the second thing was really the thing that made me go, what the I don't know, man. I just don't know. Why can't I shake this feeling that this is looking like some deep fake AI generated bull honky, bro? And I'm talking mainly about Francisco Oropeza's hair/hairline and the very strange blank expression this guy is flashing in every single pic. From what I can vaguely recall, first they gave us this weird desaturated selfie type deal where this guy is looking completely blank, yet with a slightly sinister look, so he kind of looks like a bad guy, and it's also worth mentioning he's not flashing any teeth. But most importantly, look at this guy's hair. He's got a pretty tightly shaved buzz cut, clearly indicating a receding hairline. Can you not see that? Is that not what we're seeing in this pic? Then they told us, oh, this guy's been deported 4 times. I think it was 4 times. In and out of custody, and here's a mugshot. Which looks nothing like the dude. The eyes are droopier, more eyelid than the first pic. And to be fair, I did notice folks on social media talking about how the press had released the wrong pic. Personally, I did not catch any official news stories claiming this fact. But then, a day later, while this guy was obviously on the run, and pretty much the day after the story broke, we started getting these pics, where this guy now has a thick, full, bushy head of hair with no indication of any recession whatsoever. It's at the point now where they're just putting both pics up side by side and saying, look at this monster. This illegal alien was able to get himself an AR-15 and murder 5 people for the stupidest reason ever in the world. We cannot trust heathens with guns, especially the long ones. But beyond the hair, because once I got past the hair, I was like, what's up with this guy's facial expression? It's literally the same blank yet evilish deer in headlights look in every shot. Who takes pictures like that? Nobody you know. And like I alluded to earlier, I'm not like going full Q on this or saying this didn't happen or anything like that. Nothing like that. I'm just saying this doesn't sit right, and I am expecting more of the same until they finally take the away from everyone. And just know there are a couple of guys out there writing articles and doing videos diligently documenting the numerological connections down to the finest detail between all these incidents of murder, mayhem, and death and the secret agenda coupled with the ritual sacrifice. And they seem duly intent on you believing this is purely Jesuit. Now, I'm not going to tell you who they are or where to find them because you can easily find them yourself. And quite honestly, I am afraid because everything is looking connected, folks. They Live is becoming realer and realer, and what they are working towards is becoming clearer and clearer into view. Anyone paying attention to what the very scary Biden administration is doing can see that these folks are totally sold out to the new. And let me just briefly reference a little more of what William Guy Carr wrote because it's something you should be aware of. Now, most people that I see are firmly jammed in to the Platonic cave, blissfully consuming the rubric of love and light, personal gain, vanity, and pleasure. Therefore, what I have to say will not matter to the majority of the people that I see in life. But what I have come to understand with age and experience and this genuine yearning for truth and clarity is that all that really matters in this life, and I say this with the utmost sincerity, is that each of us does everything we possibly can to get our heads straight and in line with the rules that govern this existence to avoid going to hell. That's basically it. But this is just a little more of what Carr said. Quote, Weishaupt wrote many books and pamphlets dealing with the Illuminati and the new, which was the deceptive name modernists gave to totalitarianism, which is another name for Luciferianism, end quote. And skipping ahead to another quote, quote, with deceit as their chief weapon, those who direct the Luciferian conspiracy have caused Catholics to believe Freemasonry to be the main instrument the devil uses to destroy them and Christianity. Using exactly the same deception, Masons are taught to believe Roman Catholicism is Luciferianism in disguise. By the same token, communists are taught that they are the champions of democracy, while the people of the so-called remaining democratic nations are being convinced communism is the root of all evil and the main threat towards the destruction of their governments and religions. Thus, those who direct the Luciferian conspiracy kept the Goyim, i.e. the mob, divided among themselves. They shift the blame for their own sins against God and their crimes against humanity and place it where they find it most convenient. In a most remarkable manner, which can only be explained by the power of the devil, they manage to deflect towards others the finger of suspicion whenever it is pointed at them, and generally speaking, they preserve the secrecy of their motives and identity. End quote.